It was 1978. Bernard Marcus was a man at the top of his game. He ran Handy Dan Home Improvement Centers, a major chain in the sun-drenched markets of California. He was a senior executive, a pro in the rough-and-tumble world of retail. He knew how to buy. He knew how to sell. He knew how to manage inventory and cash flow. He understood the customer looking for a hammer. He understood the customer looking for a can of paint. He understood the customer looking for a new faucet. This was his world, hardware and home repair, and he had mastered its rules. He had climbed the corporate ladder, rung by rung, and now stood near its peak. Then the phone rang. The call came from his boss, Sanford C. Sigaloff. The conversation was short. It was brutal. Bernie Marcus was fired. Arthur Blank was fired too. Just like that, their careers at Handy Dan were over. The rug had been pulled out from under them. One moment they were steering a major retail operation. The next, they were unemployed, standing in a parking lot, stunned. It was a professional execution, swift and final. For many, this would have been a devastating blow. But for Bernie, in that California sun, something else was stirring. Shock gave way to simmering frustration. Then, an idea. He and Blank had been toying with a concept for years. They dreamed of a place bigger. They dreamed of a place better. They dreamed of a place cheaper. A store so massive it felt like a warehouse, goods stacked to the ceiling. Prices that would crush small local hardware shops. This wasn't a job loss. It was a liberation. The corporate chains were too timid, too stuck in old thinking. They played it safe and nickel and dimed their way to profits. Marcus saw a different path, a retail revolution for the do-it-yourselfer. The firing cut the chains to the old model. It forced his hand. He and Blank looked at each other. They had the experience. They had the know-how. And now, they had the motivation. The idea was no longer a daydream. It was a plan. The concept was simple, but its scale was audacious. Marcus, Blank. Ron Brill wanted to build a store that was more of a destination than a simple shop. They called it the Home Depot. The name itself was a statement of intent, a central repository for everything a homeowner could possibly need. They imagined cavernous buildings, not the cozy, cluttered aisles of a traditional hardware store. They would buy merchandise directly from manufacturers in massive quantities, a tactic that would allow them to negotiate rock-bottom prices. The sheer volume of their purchases would give them leverage no small retailer could ever hope to match. This business model was built on a few core pillars that, when combined, were transformative. The first was price. By buying in bulk and operating with the lean efficiency of a warehouse, they could pass incredible savings onto the customer. The second was selection. Instead of a few choices for a power drill, they would offer dozens. Instead of a handful of paint colors, they would offer thousands. The goal was to ensure that no customer would ever have to leave empty-handed. They wanted to be the one-stop shop for every project, fixing a leaky pipe, building a new deck from scratch. The third, and perhaps most crucial pillar, was service. Marcus knew that a warehouse full of cheap goods was intimidating. A novice homeowner could walk in, see a mountain of plumbing fixtures, and walk right back out. To solve this, he insisted on hiring staff who were not just cashiers, but experts. He hired former plumbers, electricians, carpenters, contractors. These employees, clad in their iconic orange aprons, were trained to be more than sales clerks. They were project coaches. They could walk a customer through the steps, explain the difference between two types of screws, and offer genuine, practical advice. On June 22, 1979, the first two Home Depot stores opened in Atlanta, Georgia. The buildings were immense, unadorned warehouses filled with over 25,000 different items. The shelves soared towards the ceiling, stacked high with boxes of inventory. To a public accustomed to smaller, more curated stores, it was a spectacle. Marcus and his partners famously handed out dollar bills to passersby to entice them to come inside and see what they had built. They didn't need to do it for long. Word spread quickly about the vast selection and the shockingly low prices. The revolution had begun. The initial success in Atlanta was explosive, but it was only the beginning. The challenge was to see if the model could be replicated, to see if this big box lightning could strike twice, and then 100 times over. The growth of Home Depot in the 1980s and 1990s was a masterclass in aggressive, yet disciplined expansion. The company went public in 1981, providing the capital needed to fuel rapid national expansion. New stores opened at a breathtaking pace, first throughout the Sun Belt, then pushing north and west, conquering one metropolitan area after another. Each new opening was a major event, drawing huge crowds, often driving smaller competitors out of business. By 1986, the company was operating 50 stores and had surpassed $1 billion in annual sales. By 1991, it was the largest home improvement retailer in the United States. By the turn of the millennium, sales had rocketed past $45 billion. For early investors, the returns were life-changing. A small investment in the IPO would have grown into a fortune. Bernard Marcus, the man who had been unceremoniously fired, was now a billionaire, presiding over a retail empire that was reshaping the American landscape. Marcus led this expansion with a relentless focus on operational excellence. He believed the business was won or lost on the store floor, not in a fancy corporate headquarters. He was famous for his management by walking around, constantly visiting stores, talking to employees, and observing customers. He wanted to know what was selling, what wasn't, and why. He obsessed over inventory turnover, sales per square foot, and customer satisfaction scores. He maintained a low-cost culture, famously eschewing lavish offices and executive perks, reinvesting every possible dollar back into the business, into lower prices, and better stores. The company's growth wasn't just about adding more stores. It was also about adding more categories. Home Depot methodically expanded its product lines to include lumber, garden supplies, major appliances, flooring. It added services like tool rental centers and home installation programs for everything from carpeting to kitchen cabinets. The goal was to capture an ever larger share of the homeowner's wallet. The warehouse that started as a place for tools and hardware was becoming a complete ecosystem for home ownership, a strategy that cemented its dominance in the market for decades to come. More than just low prices and vast selection, Bernard Marcus understood that the true competitive advantage of Home Depot was its people. He didn't just want to build a chain of stores, he wanted to build a culture. At the heart of this culture was the orange apron. It was more than a uniform. It was a symbol of expertise and a commitment to helping the customer. Marcus fostered an inverted pyramid management philosophy. Customers were at the top, frontline employees in the stores, executives at the bottom supporting them. This philosophy was backed by concrete actions. The company invested heavily in training, ensuring employees genuinely knew the products. They were empowered to make decisions on the spot, without needing to seek approval from a manager. Marcus wanted his employees to feel a sense of ownership, a pride in their work beyond collecting a paycheck. This created a loyal, highly motivated workforce, a stark contrast to transient, disengaged retail employees elsewhere. The knowledge and helpfulness of staff became a powerful brand differentiator. Marcus also believed in sharing the company's success with the people who built it. Home Depot offered stock options, profit-sharing plans, to all employees, including part-time workers. This was revolutionary in retail. It meant the person stocking shelves or mixing paint had a direct financial stake in the company's performance. When the stock price soared, everyone benefited. This created an alignment of interests. Work harder, improve efficiency, ensure every customer left happy. This employee-centric culture impacted the company's trajectory. It reduced turnover in an industry notorious for it, saving money on recruitment and training. As Home Depot's stock price climbed into the stratosphere, Bernard Marcus accumulated a level of wealth that few people ever dream of. He became one of the richest individuals in the world. But for Marcus, the accumulation of money was not the final goal. He viewed his fortune not as a personal treasure chest, but as a tool to be deployed for the greater good. Having achieved monumental success in business, he turned his attention and resources toward philanthropy with the same intensity and strategic focus. He was ready to give it all away. In 1996, he and his wife Billy established the Marcus Foundation. This became the primary vehicle for their charitable giving, a professionally managed organization identifying and funding projects for measurable impact. Marcus wasn't interested in name-on-a-building donations. He approached philanthropy like a venture capitalist, seeking investments that yielded the highest human return. He wanted to fund solutions, not just patch problems. Focus: health, education, community. His healthcare contributions were transformative in Atlanta. He provided seed funding to create the Marcus Autism Center. He was the driving force behind the Georgia Aquarium. He made massive donations to Grady Memorial Hospital. He founded the Marcus Stroke and Neuroscience Center. Beyond healthcare, his foundation supported many causes. Major benefactor of Jewish causes. Supporter of organizations that promote free enterprise. He founded the Job Creators Network. His philanthropy reflected core values, a belief in self-reliance, a commitment to community, and a desire to provide others with the tools and opportunities they need to succeed. For Bernie Marcus, building a business was the first act, giving back was the second and arguably more important one. Bernard Marcus never forgot the lessons from his humble beginnings. His advice on business and finance was always grounded in simple, practical wisdom, free of jargon and corporate buzzwords. Know your business inside and out. Intimate understanding of your product, your customer, your costs. Spend time on the front lines, not in a secluded office. Talk to customers, listen to your employees, understand the daily mechanics of your operation. True insight is in the day-to-day grind. Financial management. Fierce frugality, relentless cost control. Low overhead. Spend on things that benefit the customer. Better products, lower prices, more knowledgeable staff. Avoid wasting money on lavish corporate headquarters, expensive furniture, executive jets. Such expenditures signal a weak, unfocused culture. Best-looking stores can have the ugliest financials. Every dollar saved on overhead helps win the price war on the sales floor. Personal finance, straightforward and timeless. Live below your means, avoid debt. Save for a rainy day because rainy days will inevitably come. Think like long-term investors, not short-term speculators. Don't chase fads or get-rich-quick schemes. Invest in solid assets, a piece of real estate, a stake in a good business, your own education and skills. Wealth builds slowly. Hard work, smart saving, patient investment. Leadership, set a clear vision. Then empower your people. Knock down barriers for your team. Don't micromanage their every move. Value action over endless meetings and thick binders of strategic plans. Want leaders who are decisive, not afraid to make mistakes, who take responsibility for their results. Lead by example. Show work ethic, integrity, customer-first attitude. Today, as 2026 unfolds, the legacy of Bernard Marcus is written in orange letters across the globe, the Home Depot signage on city skylines, and etched into the foundations of countless community institutions. His most visible legacy is, of course, the Home Depot. The company he co-founded from the ashes of being fired is now a global behemoth with thousands of stores, with hundreds of billions in annual revenue. It fundamentally changed the retail landscape, popularizing the big box, warehouse-style format. He put power back into the hands of the consumer, making home improvement accessible and affordable for the masses. But his impact extends far beyond the bottom line. Marcus helped to cultivate and expand the do-it-yourself culture. By providing the tools, materials, the know-how, Home Depot empowered millions to take on projects, learn skills, and take pride in their homes. This created a ripple effect, supporting a vast ecosystem of small contractors, builders, and tradespeople who rely on the stores for their supplies. He didn't just build a company, he built an economic engine that created hundreds of thousands of jobs and enabled countless small businesses to flourish. His philanthropic footprint is just as deep and lasting. The hospitals he funded have saved lives. The medical research he supported has advanced the fight against complex conditions like autism and stroke. The educational and community programs he backed have provided opportunities for thousands. Unlike many whose fortunes are simply passed down to heirs, Marcus made a conscious and public decision to dedicate the vast majority of his wealth to philanthropy through the Giving Pledge. His work in this area ensures that his impact will continue to be felt for generations, long after the last nail has been hammered. The lessons from his life are a blueprint for success, written in plain language. Start with a simple idea that solves a real customer problem. Focus obsessively on execution and keep your costs brutally low. Build a culture that values and empowers your frontline people. Work harder than everyone else. And when you succeed, remember where you came from and use your resources to give others a chance to build something too. Bernard Marcus is more than a business story. He is a testament to the power of resilience, the virtue of simplicity, and the profound good that can come from turning a moment of failure into a lifetime of building.